Hey y'all, HiddenLights here. Today we are over in the gaming district and we will be working on a moss farm and it's going to be pretty awesome. You guys are definitely going to want to check out all the way to the end to see that final design. It looks magnificent. But yeah, so we're going to fill in some of this tainted glass. We're from the future and this is a voiceover. Time to break the illusion. But yeah, this video today had so much more recording than originally intended. So we're going to build a shell together. We're going to build some redstone and survival. We're going to do the whole shebang, figuring out how to make a moss farm from the ground up and creative. And you're going to see that whole process and the terrible woes. And then we are going to be going and repairing Belford's Melon Farm as well. Okay, so where is this thing? Not over here. I don't think. Oh, here it is. Okay. So she said she left everything we need. It looks like she was right. Yep, there's it's hit pop. Time to pop. Yep. Sorry, no game audio. Something went wrong with the recording here, but boom. Autocrafter chest. Let's get ourselves around this corner and yeah. No, yeah, they're at this direction. Comparator, redstone dust, and a repeater. Okay, yeah, it should be working. Yeah, works. Yep, okay, cool. Alright, so we're going to cover it up with some moss and stuff, make it match Belford's aesthetic over here, and then we're going to be heading back to my base. We're going to show you some of the changes we've made that direction. Some stuff has changed inside there, but yeah, we are going to make our way over there now. Okay, guys, as you see, some stuff might be different. Yeah, some things have changed. Still working on it, but in the base progression, some stuff has happened. We've gotten some new grass. So this was that like aquamarine pyramid. Now we've got just a rock. That way it'll work for when we need all the different effects. We've got, the grass out here. We changed our farm design. We pulled it from that oval up into here. An empty space. This got changed around a little bit. There's been a hill added here. And so there is progress on that we will see in a moment. There is a weird entrance. I don't know if this is the same on Java. I believe it is. But yeah, they don't fit through here. But I don't know why they crowd. They all want to go this direction, but they can't. Something about their AI pathing just makes them all crowd here. I added this texture. There's going to be a build here. I'm trying to decide how I want to do it exactly, but my current thought is kind of like the needle in Seattle. This pathway has been put in an entrance into the hill. This has only begun. And yeah, here's one more thing. I'm glad it's night, so I can actually demonstrate this properly. I've gone through and lanterned over here, but I added some more rainbow up here. I don't know that I'm going to stick with the rainbow. I do like it, but I feel like it starting to pull from the idea of it. So I think in the next clip, you guys will probably see me working on the moss farm, or at least some of the redstone. We've gotten somewhere in the redstone already, but we'll see in the creative world. And alrighty, hello. We are here in the redstone testing world. As you saw there, I do have a new skin. So on Bedrock, there is a lot more skin customization stuff that you can do. And I wanted to make a new skin, dropped like 20 bucks to get coins, of course, the Bedrock exclusive shenanigans, but this skin I went for. I kind of liked, so that's actually a beard that's making the smile. And the horns are made by hair. But I combined some different things to create a pretty unique kind of dynamic skin. I do like on this that you can have more like animations on your skin by default. And I do like how it looks even in my hand, but I think that I'm missing actually something showing in my hand. Yeah, so if I'm in F5 here, you can see, let me see here, what's the best way I can show this. So you see right here this white that's showing on my hand, that normally does show in first person too. Ooh, I want to point out, I really like how it looks in here. You get this like shapeless form. It kind of looks like something like vanishing and appearing. But back to what we were working on. This is the current moss farm I've designed. I'm just trying to figure out the mechanics. So we've got the lava over waterlogged pistons. So if I break, let's break that. It's gonna flow out water. I did break something underneath here just a moment ago when I was trying to start my recording. There it is. That is what I broke. And it looks like it did break that as well. So we're gonna do that. And now, so yeah, there's, because I got vibrant visuals on, you can't tell, but the water is not staying on for as long as it should. I was messing with the timings on this and trying to remember how I had it set up from the get-go, because I had it working a little more consistently. My issue with how I had this farm set up, though, is that I had it where the timings I'm trying to fix for the cobblestone. I had it set where it was all stone generating, and that's what I'm trying to resolve. But yeah, as you see, this whole like moving, everything moving constantly is not the goal. This does work still, so if I grab some bone meal. Okay, so now that we've got bone meal, I stick it in here. Like, it does do the things that it needs to do. Well, is it not going to do it now? Is there water over it? Looks like there might be. Yeah, there is water. Let's just do this to reset it all. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, once the cobblestone issue is resolved, this will be a working machine. I had it working fully, so underneath here is just the hopper, and as you see down here, like it was working for quite a while, but I tried messing with the timings. I did not record or take any photos or anything beforehand, but I kind of have an idea of what I want. But yeah, the timings definitely need to be worked on. So over here is where I was working on timings for like the fastest you can get with this to still be stone, which is basically instant. So I don't know why these aren't generating stone every time. We are going to work on the next version. So first issue I want to solve is where the pistons are pushing both ways and it's just like constantly moving. So we are going to be right back with that. I did not record this testing, but what I was trying to do was see if we activate them at the same time, what happens. And it seems like if we activate them at the same time, it does not resolve the issue I was trying to resolve. So back to the drawing board. My goal is not to have to do obsidian behind these, but I might have to do obsidian. When I did it over here, I didn't have to do obsidian. So there's certainly a way to do it, but I've not yet discovered that. So time-lapse time. Okay, time for test two. What I'm trying to watch over is if that redstone over there activates at the same time as the one, if this redstone activates at the same time as this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's chunk. Okay, great. So we just need to make it within this bounds.
Future voiceover self here, but I think at this point I probably should have recognized I was in over my head. This clip is in 60 times speed, and I'm rebuilding the third version of the farm that I've already basically built.
Okay, yeah. But we have an idea. On to the next change. This is where I've gotten us to. So this is kind of what we're working with up here. Very similar to the top of that other one. Then down here, so what we got going on is just this mirrored. And they're all filled up. It doesn't activate even when you well, it doesn't move the pistons even when you activate it. Bone meal this. This can bust it all. Just throw a bunch of pulses through. And then it's all filled up. It's probably an optimal pace for that and all the good stuff, but we're just going step by step here. We come up here. This obviously still needs to be cleared, but it's all stone, right? So now we need to get these water pieces in to push all of these down. We also will need to get a top part to break like these little bits and bobs, but I want to fill this in all the way just to make sure that it does work fully. So that piece needs to be converted silver in that corner. There we go. Okay, now it's all done. So now when we come here and we do this, it should Yep. Perfect. Okay. So So then we need to add water buckets and all these.
Okay, so we are back with a spectacular looking skin in spectator mode, and we're going to be showing what I've tweaked over here. Yes, this is a voiceover for those of you who may be curious, but the audio is terrible. You're welcome. So water is pushing here in the middle, and this is the kind of minimalized design. We have just the dispenser facing up, and with observers, there's this cycling hopper minecart that will be pushing things down, making sure that water doesn't affect it. There shouldn't be water at the moment, but it's not running. We've got the underneath all cycling, and we've got this lamp here as a middle point. Okay, so that should be resolved now. So this is to be representative of a vertical redstone signal. We've got the observers facing up through here, taking that signal. It also then takes that signal, shoots it out to the side, and this is what activates the water. It's just a quick double pulse. That's the repeaters extend the delay, and then the observer observes them turning on and turning off, which is the like on and then off. It seems that the 4 tick is long enough for that. This also activates, because of this delay here, activates just after the whole system goes off and this piston punches this. It probably would be worth it to throw a block above the moss here too, just to help items not breaking, getting stuck up here. It would be a very insignificant amount of loss, but it is technically lost, so I'll probably end up putting another block over there. But then we come down here, there is just a basic like clock going around, but instead of using 2 repeaters here, or a repeater and then just redstone dust, I have an observer. So then that way, since this is on a realm, there can be a button, or a button here, just a button to activate this. And that way, if it loses its signal going through, like on a server, just from chunks and all the type of stuff that goes on servers, it will help reduce issues with having to reset it. It'll be an easy like toggle. And this main middle line will be on a switch. So that way you can just activate the switch for this, and it probably won't activate this automatically. This will just be a button press when you need to when it's not going right, which would be pretty obvious because those are activating the pistons and the moss would just not be coming through, and you would have to be like, oh, it's, it's on, but it's not going. That means that button needs to be pressed, and you press the button. But yeah, the hopper is going around. I only put one of these hopper minecarts on here because if you put more, they really don't work great unless you're doing a 2x2, where then you can have like 2 to 4 of them kind of spinning around a circle. But when you have a full like this, you kind of need to just have the one, or they hit each other. You also need to do the corners with glass. I didn't do all powered rails here because I wanted to just have a better viewing angle to make sure it's going around when I'm in creative. But yeah, I am gonna give a quick little demonstration of what this looks like. And we will be right back once that's set up. Okay, so this is what I had to change it to. So you got the 2 still like that, but they're coming from the side here. And how this would work if you had vertical space was this, this would just be tucked up down into here. I did have to break the button here for this to work, but the button could just be put on any of these corners here. Like I said, this would just be like this, and then you would have right here it would come down one, and then it would just come under here, and there would be the redstone. And then you would have like a target block right here to get to go through. Or you could actually probably just do, oh, that was not what I meant to do. You could probably just do a piece of like a block here and the redstone going leading into it on both sides, and then have your source ticking into that. But yeah, so now we can demonstrate what this looks like. Okay, and so I added some glass on top to stop the items from getting stuck up there, but this is what it'll look like for one cycle. and then it would be able to run again. So it takes about, just a couple seconds, like one, it takes less than 5 seconds, and you would just have another cycle come around, do it, and it would just keep doing that. And as you do this more, the items will slowly come to the middle more and more as this stone pushes in and these all come in. The only thing is, while the pistons are moving when the water is out, it does kind of fling the items about a little bit, but they still make their way to the middle. And remember, they don't need to actually make it dead center. They just need to make it to these. Actually, only the 7 are really being picked up because that's being covered. Or the 7 out of the 8 that is going around. So that's that. Maybe I could desync the water a little bit more from the pistons, just to give a little extra timing for that. So that's one thing with this setup is you can only do the one dispenser's worth of bone meal, but I plan on having this be kind of an accessible part of the farm, so it'll be easy to put bone meal in here. You could, in theory, do something like this if you really wanted to get a lot of bone meal in there. This will just keep doing this. Oh, is that a trap chest? It seems like I took a trap chest because it's locking that pist open. But you will have some of the times that this is trying to bone meal and it won't be able to. So like if I'm clicking as fast as I can, and you can't tell, but some of the times it's not going. Yeah, so let's return to the original design. Okay, so here we are back to the original design, and we're really actually going to be moving down to the next stage, and we're going to do a little bit more speed building, and this is going to be the actual part of the system where it shoots it down, because this is going to be a tower, and I'm going to have the storage system underground, so I need the farm in the air to spit down onto the ground. So first I'm going to go ahead and create these redstone lines, and this is going to be kind of the main, like, mechanism that's running this all. So the copper bulb updating is what sends the pulse to the bone meal. I want some chests around here because I'm going to have a hopper minecart system set up right here. So yeah, I've got the hoppers, and then we just have a hopper minecart on rail running in circles. We need some dispensers facing down, so then that way we'll be able to spat out items. Obviously, I know that it needs to go down a little bit lower to put the hoppers underneath of it, but I was just kind of looking at the system and trying to think about when I put hoppers in connected to these dispensers, is there anywhere that the hoppers are going to be getting powered from that's going to prevent them from constantly being able to suck out items? Because I know moss farms can produce quite a few items pretty quickly. And once I feel satisfied with the side, I go ahead and mirror it over to the other side, and then I need to get it a system where the two dispensers are being powered quickly, but they're not locking any hoppers. I figure an observer clock is the simplest way. I'll just have a sticky piston be the toggle on and off to make that be active or not to reduce lag. You don't want to have those observer clocks constantly going in your worlds. They definitely can add quite a bit of lag pretty quickly if you have more than one farm, and my base is a bunch of farms in one place, so I really need to be aware of how I'm using redstone. And that's actually something I'll probably in the future need to go through and improve as I've learned more. But I do realize I run into a roadblock here just trying to get all hooked up on the same system, is that there's going to be water in the middle of this because I need water to get the items from the dispensers funneled. It can't just dispense and be in the same spot. I've since learned that I could have used powdered snow to center the items underneath, but that wouldn't have done it. And at this point, I needed a button because those observers clicking was driving me insane. And it's time to build out a platform. And I was going to build this kind of repeater clock setup here, but we're actually going to be jumping over into the survival world. We're basically at the same spot in survival now, but I've realized, oh yeah, the lever that connects to the sticky piston needs to also be the toggle for the whole system, including this cycle. So I have the timing from creative that you guys don't know, but I'm just trying to get the timing to work in this tight space, and I am struggling. I'll just let the audio play. Pink think corner. Pink think corner. So after a little bit of time, we me talking to Belford primarily, but also different people, and also just a lot of time thinking. I thought maybe I needed to bring in a target block. Maybe, target blocks can do weird stuff with redstone. They redirect it. You can kind of go through it up, down. With this glass, I really made it difficult with making it shorter here and having to work around with glass in tighter spots. But at this point, I was committed. I've built it this far in survival. I'm not going back. I didn't want to remine the crying obsidian. I've got haste too, but no, I don't want to do it. I'm committing. And so we get there. Pink think corner. Pink think corner. Pink think corner. Well, we do get there. I promise. I promise. We do get there. But we did need a little bit more of a pep talk from that corner. Because target block was not the answer in the way I thought. But eventually we do get this all tied together. For perspective, we are now in 25 times speed. So I have varied the speed at different points throughout this video, but this is the fastest I've had at any moment. This is going in 25 speed since the last pink think corner. Yeah, that is how rough figuring out that simple mistake, that simple oversight really cost me time-wise. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see in the top left up here, we have just passed day 5,000. So this video is gonna have to trickle over after that video beforehand for y'all about day 5,000 and that kind of tour. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video and left some good feedback. But you probably saw a spoiler for what we've done over here, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a better view. We have done it. It is done. Totally done. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, no, kind of. This is the Moss Farm. So it is fully designed. I did do a couple things differently than what I had done in that creative world that we saw together, in my planning. So, okay. If I can get this landed here. Okay. So, if you watch, for some reason the water likes to be turned on. Well, not for some reason. It's just bad luck. When you flick the lever underneath, sometimes the water is on. Because the lever is in this water system are all connected now, the timing is a little bit better in the sense that this water doesn't need to be gone, and when I flick the lever it will still work properly when bone meal is in here. It took some time to get the cobblestone thing sorted because this other change that I made unintentionally was I made it a little bit too short. So I had to put some glass here so it didn't do these hoppers wrong with the or not wrong, but locked those hoppers with the lit redstone. And so this is a little bit tighter. I have this up, pushing a block up that makes it so the circuit complete, and then when that gets activated it also sends the single pulse. Then that is the same where it's just the hopper minecart running in circles and around in the 8 middle blocks, or well, 9 middle blocks with the center one taken out. Then the chests and down into the dispenser, which then shoots into the water. When I was building this, I was considering would it be better put the dispenser just facing in and get rid of this whole water system down here, but I figured it needs to be vertical anyways for the build, and if they're facing inwards, it would make this middle block not be able to be the powered block, and I just didn't know if it'd cause issues. So I left it like this for that. Oh yeah, the payload.
I did it this way just so that way it would still be white, but it would be distinct what is part of the redstone from the build, because this will be internally accessible. I'm going to have the elevator blocks from the add-ons up here, so that way we can come up and down and turn it on. So there will be one that'll take us up to this level, and then there will be one that takes us all the way to the top probably. I may not have one all the way to the top, but there will be one that goes down into these sorted items as well, because when this farm runs, it shoots down, spits out the items down here, and right now I've just got this set up. So this was from the testing, but it is fully functional now. So back to the farm. Yeah, this is now the water is not on. No, oh no, there's water still there. Okay. Yeah, with the vibrant visuals, it is really, really difficult to tell. But yeah, this is what we've got going on up here. Okay, so I think the next step I'm going to be working on, there's the stage, so I need to build the shell around this Then I need to build the legs for the actual the structure. And then I need to build the sorter underneath. I think I will... I don't want to do the sorter right now. I think that's the right thing to do, but I'm going to work on the top shell and then the sorter and then the legs. At least that's my current plan. We'll see if it sticks to that. But I want to make it look just a little bit neater, helping this look rounded out more and connected. I feel like really is going to do a lot. Really. And now I think we start going wider is probably the call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks to the peak. Oh, but it's out 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we need to go like up to over, which is hard because this I want to be a little more shallow because we need to go. And I probably should add these as the corner to help round that out a little more. Yep. And yep. You're gonna die. Whoa. Okay. Well, we've done it. We kinda did a little bit of a jump there. As you can see, quite a few days have passed. But this top part has been built, and I'm going to go ahead and show it off real quick, and that is going to go ahead and be the conclusion of this video. A lot of time's already gone into this video, and you guys will get to see the legs and the storage being built in as part of the next video. But a little bit of a view of it all. I'm pretty happy with this, how this came out. I should have grabbed rockets before. Okay, so now that we are back in stock, I'm going to take my shield out of my hand so you can get a better view. Actually, why don't I just go F1? So, this is kind of the view of it. You can definitely see how it's coming along very similar to the Space Needle. This is kind of perspective. And here I'll actually crank up my render distance. I don't have the water running right now, especially with my render distance all the way up. I wouldn't want to any excess lag. So as you're coming out of spawn, definitely stands out. The rainbow beacon does sit in front of it, which helps break it up to not just be like stand out-ish as much. Surprisingly, I thought I'd have to change the beacons, but I may not have to. Maybe just keeping their placement, and I can still change that to white or something else, maybe make it blend in with this. Okay, so I have lowered the gate. It is nighttime, but I wanted to show you guys the color at night. So because the crying obsidian, it gets these purple hues. And one of these, there we go, there's rockets. One of these, I don't know what the names are for these, but the little red dots at the end of the end of antennas that you can see, you know, off in the horizon. I went ahead and put that on there because I like just that little red dot. It really helps show that's the tip, because sometimes you can get where that's just out of render distance, or just not render distance, but like where your anti-aliasing messes it up, or yeah, see like when the hue shift, if there wasn't the dot at the end, you'd probably think that the top stops right there. But with that, you can see, oh, there is a line that continues up. See, now you can't see the tip, but you can see that line. You can see the tip. Just a little bit thicker. It shows it nice. This is kind of it as you approach. Now this gate's going to go up here in just a second, but this is as you approach. Yep. As you approach in. Obviously, that is what the inverse of the gate looks like. What it would have looked like would have been this opening animation. From the other side, that would be what Dawnbreak looks. But you definitely seeing it here like this. It looks very funny without the legs. It's just floating. Just barely can see it actually. You would only need a little bit of legs built for that to look like it was complete. But yeah, when you get over here, it just completely
the illusion breaks. I did a very good job, I have to say, at covering the redstone on the inside, which I'll show you a little bit more. There is black, gray, and light gray mixed in to that glass to kind of give like a shadowing effect. Lever, it does function. There's buttons here that activate the dispensers, so if they become out of sync, you just go around and press all 4 of the buttons and it resets them. So these 5 in the middle had redstone and dust above them, and they were slabs before. But I pulled the slabs forward because I think this is going to put water out if I break that. So if I break this, it'll show the obsidian, which then you guys know there's the water piston here. And so this will be an issue if I break that. But then the redstone line that was on the slabs had to become stairs, and I changed up how the observers were up there just a tiny bit, and I can't really show you guys all that well. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Let's go and head up. Sorry, but yeah, see, there's a bit of cobblestone that still spawned, and I think it has to do with how I changed the timing stuff up, but it's not the end of the world. I wanted it to kind of be an explanation for where the life is coming out of the desert. So that is where we are going to end it here, guys. We will see you in the next video with those legs and the storage system. Appreciate all the feedback and people engaging with the content. If you guys could drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment, of course. But we will see you next time. Goodbye.